Oh, welcome to Advanced Trading, ATI Pro Media. Thanks for joining us live at 9 o'clock. We're here going to talk grain markets and livestock markets, give you updated here on what's going on here today. Today's news today. We're live at 9. Got a special guest in the building. Excited to have him on. We'll introduce him later here on, but we got a WASDE report today. Had CONAB out this morning. We had weekly export sales and an updated drought monitor. And we got a special guest here. So let's go to your markets. We'll run down where your markets are at and get on with the show here. May corn is up 3.5 cents, 477.5. Dees corn is up 2.5 at 453.25. May beans up 7.25 at 1020.25. New crop beans up 6.25 at 1003.25. Soy oil is a tick weaker. Soy meal is a little bit firmer, up 230 at 303. Chicago wheat is down 3.5 cents, 538.75. KC wheat is down a penny in nearly 2 cents, 566. July KC wheat at 579.5, down a penny. Minneapolis wheat's down 3 cents. Added that on there here recently. Looking over your meat markets, we got feeder cattle breaking a little bit lower. May contract is down almost $1, 277.225. The April is going to come off the books here next week and settle up with the index 283.45 on April feeders, and the index is 290.63. So nearly a $7, $6.50 discount on that index. Futures versus the index. Fat cattle are down $1.10. Hogs over there are a little firmer, up 15 points. Crude oil is down 280 at 59.53, back below $60. Diesel 6 cents lower. Nat gas is 16 cents weaker, 365.5. The Dow is down 920 points. The S&P down 150. The Nasdaq down 645. Boy, howdy. Weren't these things just green the other day? I guess it doesn't last very long, but here we are. That's kind of a rundown of your markets. Yeah, big day today. Got the April supply and demand report. Had a significant headline dropped yesterday that just catapulted these markets late in the session. But let's bring on our guest here today. I know you're excited to meet him, excited to see who it is. Appreciate you guys joining us every day live at 9. Justin Aeder, Bad Axe, Michigan, advanced trading commodity broker. Justin, how are you?
Good morning, Brady. I'm pretty good indeed. Although I liked yesterday's price action a little bit better than I have right now. So I don't know if I'm the one to blame, because I am on LaSalle Street today, and I'm just starting to think that I might be the reason. So maybe I need to find my way back home to Bad Axe here pretty shortly.
Get your butt back home. Yeah. Whatever you're doing, stop doing it, because it's, sending some bad juju. Tony was on Tuesday, and she had some green on the screen. Justin, come on. But we'll forgive you. So corn's green. Corn's still up 3. So we got that going for us. So yeah. Justin, tell us a little bit about yourself and you're in Bad Axe, Michigan. Is that right? Bad Axe. That's just fun to say.
Bad axe, as in the broken axe in the thumb of Michigan. Yeah. So right in the heart of, I'm going to say the heart of the grain belt in Michigan, we've got some pretty diverse crop profile. I mean, we you have your normal corn, wheat, and soybeans, but we're also pretty fortunate enough to grow dry beans and grow sugar beets, and we've got some other specialty crops. So it's pretty unique where I'm at. Very, very fortunate to be able to have that, and just to be able to have such a diverse I guess choosing for whatever these farmers want to be able to choose for what the prices are dictating for the year. So pretty fortunate. Been working with ATI for 4 years now, but been in agriculture for as long as I can remember. Grew up on a farm, worked on a farm, just still work on a farm in the fall time. So just always plugged in one way or another.
Cool. What's the sentiment of farmers up there? Are they in good spirits, excited about the upcoming crop, all over the place?
We're kind of getting to that point where everybody's getting a little bit excited. I mean, you're seeing the planters coming out of the sheds. You're seeing sprayers starting to get going. We're starting to put some nitrogen on wheat. Just starting to kind of get things rolling. We're a little bit behind. I'm going to call the I-State guys, but we're getting ready. Guys are excited. We're hoping, as long as we can catch or dodge a couple rains this weekend, we might get some sugar beets planted in the middle of next week, which will be pretty much the first start that most guys have had the opportunity to get going. So we're ready. We're getting ready for sure.
Good. Spring fever. That's good. A good time of year to get things, the wheels moving, and get things going out there. Love the springtime. So, yep. All right, so we had a big headline yesterday, Justin. 90-day pause in tariffs to most nations. That came out, dropped midday. It was the fake news on Monday, turned into real news on Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day it is. You're just sent these markets caught a little bid here. It was good to see, exciting to see. So, yeah,
Isn't it like I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday, and the market has the feel right now that there is nothing else that matters. It is tariffs or nothing. It's not South America. It's not U.S. production yet. It's not spring planting. All it is what is the latest headline, and it's probably as challenging of a market as we've had to monitor and really kind of navigate, in quite a while. I mean, this is very much feels like last time Trump was in office, but I almost feel like it's amplified more at this point because you just don't know. I mean, if anything else, it told us that he's willing to work with people, but if they're not willing to work with them, I mean, i.e. China, he's going to hold their feet to the fire. And I do feel like I don't think this is going to get any prettier anytime soon. I think both sides are preparing to go for a long-term war here. At least that's what it feels like today.
yeah,
So I mean, the market is going to continue to be on edge
yeah.
for the time being.
Volatility, uncertainty here to stay over maybe the rest of the Trump term as we're negotiating. And yesterday, that when that EU dropped their reciprocal retaliatory tariffs, there was I highlighted in that morning show. They talked about the third round being in December, and that one was like, oh man, how long is this going to last? Because it's been a wild ride here for the last 45 to 60 days, and December's quite a ways away from us. Got a couple crops that are going to be growing between now and then that are going to change the supply and demand picture. But from a trade and demand front, things are going to be moving around. I like what you said there. Good stuff. So, speaking of moving around, had a CONAB report out this morning. I'm going to flash up a graphic here, and this is from Karen Braun, just kind of a snapshot there. They upped corn production 2 million metric tons in this morning's CONAB estimates. A lot of that in the second crop corn production estimate. They left exports the same. Ending stocks, that increase in production went straight to the bottom line on ending stocks there. So CONAB data out this morning. Then we also have the WASDE report here this afternoon, or 11 a.m. That's not really this afternoon. Here's kind of a snapshot of estimates from that. We're not going to be going live here for that. April can sometimes be a snooze fest with the WASDE, but you never know. You don't want to write it off because it can move the markets. It's an old crop one, and I don't know. There's a lot going on in the markets today, so don't feel like covering it live. But the A team will be on at 1:30 to break down the deep dive. But here, survey results here as we grind through these numbers. March corn ending stocks 1.54 was the total. Average of the analyst estimate is 1.512 billion bushels for the corn ending stocks, a range of 1.4 to 1.6. So pretty big range there. U.S. bean ending stocks 380 million bushels with the average right at 382, but a big range of 320 to 405 on that front. Wheat ending stocks 819 was the March total. The average trade guess is 826 with a range of 803 to 854. So, yeah, people will be watching the export front, ethanol. You asked the question yesterday, Justin, in the comments, and that was half the reason why I had to pull you in and let you talk about it today too. But talked about ending stocks. What do you expect with the WASDE here today? What's on your radar, I guess, with the WASDE?
Oh, I would say the biggest thing I'm focusing on is, our U.S. balance sheet and the old crop carryout. I don't expect a lot of adjustments coming out of South America. We kind of know what the soybean crop looks like, because we're almost done harvesting it down there. There's really no big surprises yet out of Argentina for their corn, and Brazil's just so early in their production stage that they can't really make a whole lot of adjustments, in my opinion. But so I'm really focused on, and to me, I think the big story is corn. We've had an excellent export program here, really since starting in November. And, it seems like every week, what the expectations are. We're hitting at the near end or the top end or even above it, and we're exceeding what the USDA has for a pace. I think was reading yesterday. I think it was like by 24%. So we're up 24% compared to what the USDA thinks we should be at.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we really haven't seen them make a whole lot of adjustments to it. So I'm just really curious how they're going to handle this with all the uncertainty with with Trump's tariffs. Are they going to finally make these adjustments, which feel like they're a long time coming?
Yeah.
Or are they going to say, you know what, we just don't know what's happening long term yet enough on these tariff deal, so we're going to punt? And I really am curious to see how that happens. And you mentioned yesterday too about feeding residual. Are they going to pull the old magic eraser on us and say, okay, yeah, we're going to cut exports or increase exports by this much, but then we're going to cut feed and residual and end up at the same point? So the USDA seems to somehow magically balance that budget from time to time. So I'm not going to be totally shocked if that happens, but I'm optimistic. I mean, we've got a lot of things going for us. Like you said, ethanol grind is good. Exports have been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm crossing my fingers for a sub 1.5 carry out, but I'm not putting a whole lot of $8 on it yet.
Well, I think that would excite the market if we saw a sub 1.5 out there. That'd be pretty sweet to see and provide a little bit. You got the tariff troubles maybe somewhat behind us for the day. We'll see. That just changes minute to minute. But
be careful, Brady. Be careful.
You back yourself into a corner saying something like that here. But you get a couple bullish arguments in there and bullish catalysts there. The Bears have been winning as of late, and it certainly feels like there's a lot of bottom picking wanting to happen right now as this market has felt oversold and felt resilient in the face of some of that news. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe the WASDE will get some support from the USDA, some surprise there, and get, I like that, 1.5, something sub 1.5. But the magic eraser, they seem to have that there as well too, to keep things in check. So we'll see what gets printed today. Had weekly exports out as well. Oh, before I go there, Justin, I have this graphic about the WASDE historical change on WASDE Day. So, we talk about it can be a nothing burger out there, but we've seen some significant price moves out there. May beans in 2022 rallied 44 cents on the April WASDE Day. Corn had a strong day in 22 as well on the April WASDE, up 11 cents. We've seen corn down 5 cents to 6 cents historically, and beans down 12 to 20 cents over the past WASDEs, which, in this market, those don't feel like all too significant moves. I was looking at May corn chart, Justin, and we've had like almost an 80-cent range since the middle of February. We had a 518 print and traded down to, I think, 442. And then here we are back mid 470s, 476, bouncing back. So these markets are moving.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was actually going to make the same comment that, of all the crops, it really does seem like corn has been as resilient as any of them. And I think is because of I know you've covered this lots of times really well, but the tight situation that we are in the world, as well as, with, I should say, with far in terms of our competition. And, the US, we're comfortable. We're not short on corn, at least as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trending around that 10.2% stocks to use. And as soon as we get below that number, that's when the market starts to get a little bit uncomfortable. We start to see some demand rationing happen. And just looking at, like you said, looking at the corn chart, we rallied, roughly 30 cents off our bottoms here, just a few short weeks ago. And I'm not sure what the basis is happening in your area, but I know in our area up in the thumb, we're starting to see where basis is starting to firm up a little bit and starting to see some aggressive bids, coming into the June, July timeframe. So it certainly feels like the corn situation today is much, much different than when it was this time last year. And I think that's why, I feel like the market has been so resilient, is because there's just not as much out there as what we thought we had a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Sentiment could change really quickly. We can go from doom and gloom to euphoria. And I guess my question always to producers is, what are you doing about it? And when we get these types of rallies or those opportunities, the basis firms up and you get a nice bounce on the board, are you doing anything with it? Certainly felt like there was a lot of farmers selling a few months ago when we were in the fall and going in, nobody wanted to store and manage that cost of ownership. And that just cratered that basis. It felt like those guys got covered up. And I like what you said there about basis potentially, firming up. But you guys in the East, and I guess I call Michigan the East. It's the North. I don't know where it fits exactly, but you're at least within reach of the East. But we got an East versus West divide on that cash market. It definitely has felt like this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're the redheaded stepchild. We be Canada's little brother, I think, is what most of us consider us, because Michigan doesn't fall real high on the production map when it comes to corn, wheat, and soybeans. But we are trying. But I do expect that, we're starting to see, like I said, starting to stuff kind of bleed our way as that pipeline gets shrunk and there's less out there. We're going to get the opportunity to get some better cash bids than what we've seen in the last 12 to 18 months.
Yeah. Well, as a farmer, as a producer out there, stay nimble, stay quick, and take advantage of the opportunities when they present themselves. But don't box yourself out of future opportunities down the road too. So let's flash up the drought monitor. Not a whole lot has changed. It's still early to talk about drought monitor, but boy, there's a lot of green on the 4-week change in Michigan. Looks like you guys have had maybe a decent month here with precip. Can you ground truth that to us to an extent, Justin? Have you guys had a decent month here?
So I can tell you in my area, it's not overly wet, but I can tell you, like on the west side of the state where they're showing, that was a lot of snow. We didn't get quite as much as what they did, but I mean, there was quite a bit of snow, quite a bit of freezing rain here last week. But I mean, I would say, the drought monitor shows that we're in, I think, a moderate drought in the thumb. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it. I mean, we still feel a little bit wet this spring. I mean, let's just put it this way. I mean, nobody's super concerned either way about being too dry or being too wet at this point. I think we're ready
Okay.
to go when the weatherman says it's time to go and Mother Nature says, "All right, green light's on," we'll be ready to roll.
Yeah. Well, that massive rainfall in the south area, that's, it'll be interesting to see when that gets plugged into the drought monitor, but there ain't a whole lot of drought down there right there. So the Western Corn Belt, keep an eye on that going forward. Not a whole lot there. The drought monitor is going to be, and the weather is going to be important as we proceed forward here. So, guys, we're not going to go live today on the April WASDE drop, but it'll be out at 11 today. We got the A team covering it. Nate DeRocco, Brian Basting, Michael Reginelli. At 1:30, they'll break down all you need to know with the April WASDE today and recap everything. Got a few comments out there, and then we'll move on with our days here, Justin. So Tony Dunker here. River situation starting to straighten out with the lock getting opened up, but there is a backlog of barges to go through. Once it gets lined out on the Illinois basis, may need to do some work. Good comment there on that basis situation, Tony, as well. Farmers are heading to the field around here, Quincy, Illinois, West Central Illinois, guys getting to work out there. So it's that time of year. Planters are going to start rolling, and that's going to be the main focus here. But don't forget about your markets out there and the opportunities when they present themselves. Justin, thanks for coming on today. I hope I can drag you on more. If you keep commenting, I'm going to keep dragging you on the show with us. But you got any closing thoughts here? Last word you want to say before we wrap things up?
I think you said it really well yesterday, Brady, is we don't know where this market is going because it's so much headline driven at this point. And, my biggest recommendation is just staying balanced. At this point, this market could scream 50 cents higher or 50 cents lower, just depending on what happens with this tariff situation. And so getting too far in one direction can really come back to hurt a producer. And so my recommendation is don't make any decisions that you don't hedge that decision one way or another, whether you're getting too far sold or you're too undersold. You just need to make sure that you've got yourself protected no matter what this market does. You're in a position to benefit from whatever that move is and really capture some of this volatility.
Definitely. I don't think we're going to have a shortage of that volatility. It certainly doesn't feel like it over the coming year. We already have had a significantly volatile start of the year. So, Justin, thanks for jumping on with me today, and we'll get you back on in a week or two as well. Thanks for being here.
Yep. Thanks, Brady.
All right, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow live at 9. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get out of here. Have a great day. See ya.